What's up YouTube? Welcome back. Got another Forza Motorsport video for you guys this week, and I got a camera now. This week I decided to race the Ginetta G40 Juniors. Real slow cars, but they're a lot of fun and I just couldn't stop racing them. With that, let's jump into the first race at Laguna Seca. So race 1 actually wound up being a phenomenal start to the afternoon. Out of 21 drivers, I was able to qualify P2, which doesn't happen very often. And I don't have a lot of experience in these cars, which is a little apparent off the start. Really struggled to get these cars to jump off the line, and in most races I actually just lost positions at every start. But this race, it didn't cost me too much because going into turn 1, the orange car, I'm not quite sure what happened. He went wide a little late there, allowing me to slip back on in. This allowed me to get right behind P1. And I wasn't planning on making any moves too early. I wanted to be patient with this race. It's only 4 laps, so it's really easy to ruin your race. But I got a phenomenal exit out of that turn and was able to go side by side with him here. I wasn't super confident I could pull it off, but the third place car actually gave him a bit of a tap. I don't know if he braked early or something, but it just let me slide on through and immediately take first place. It's awesome, but it's also a little horrifying because now I'm leading the race by just a small margin, and the next turn is the corkscrew. I'm going to try and not think about how many people are behind me that could just shove me right through, and just try to hit my braking spot, get in, line the car up, give it a bit of throttle, and get a good exit. And actually it worked out. I was able to get almost a whole second. I don't know if that orange car was a little ambitious and just wanted to go with more speed or something, because he got right up to me and then all of a sudden disappeared a bit. And just like that, we're gonna basically be a second ahead and have a nice cushion for just another 3 laps. Now again, I want to say this was the first race of the session, so I was actually extremely anxious because I was just trying to warm up, and I was like, oh, Laguna Seca, one of my favorite tracks. Have a lot of experience here with the Cup cars. I'm kind of getting a groove for it, and just being thrown right into first place, I was like, okay, well, now I'm a little anxious. I don't want to screw up this opportunity that's been given to me, and I'm just trying to drive as consistent as I possibly can and try to keep that gap up. The orange car in second place actually had quite a bit of pace on him, although right now it seems that I'm just pulling away. He actually kind of stays within this range most of the race and catches back up. Coming out of turn 2 here, I actually make a bit of an oopsie and go a bit wide, pick up some dirt, which allows second place to get a good run on me, and whatever gap I built just starts to slowly disappear. I'm a little nervous here because I'm not in the best safety rating at the moment of this recording, and I was just kind of expecting him to just nosedive it the moment he had a chance, which right here, right going up, I'm shaking right now. I really do not want him to nosedive, but he is a good driver and he doesn't. He goes a little wide there, but he doesn't nosedive, and I'm eternally grateful. And just like that, we're gonna win our first race of the day. Doesn't get much better than that. Now, race 2 did not go as well for me. We're at Virginia. We're starting P8, get another terrible launch off the line. We're going to lose a position or 2 here. For some reason, that red car ghosts. I'm assuming he just disconnected. And going into turn 1, there's quite a tight pack here. I'm shocked that we actually didn't wind up in any collisions. It seemed like almost everybody was pretty clean there. It looks like there was maybe 1 crash, but other than that, it looked pretty clean, which is pretty rare, definitely at Virginia. Now going into turn 2, we get a bit more shenanigans going on, a little bit more bumping. People just aren't that patient. They want to win the race on lap 1, which you can't. You can very easily lose the race on lap 1. You're never going to win it. Now this guy cuts on the inside of me. We're driving through ghosted cars. A little hectic, but we've made it up to P6. I'm not the biggest fan of Virginia, but that's probably because every time I've ever raced here, I've used cars that are just lightning fast. using these cars at Virginia was actually quite enjoyable. It was probably the first time I ever actually enjoyed racing here. These cars are just so small and slow. The track feels so much wider. The blind corners aren't nearly as daunting. It was a lot of fun. As we head into lap 2, we're kind of starting to fall into a formation here. The top 5 guys are a little quick, and the, I guess, back cars way out in the back are kind of stuck back there. 7th and the 8th are battling a little bit behind me. You can kind of see it in the mirror. And this right here is where I started to fall apart. I took a super awkward line through this turn and kind of just drove off in the dirt. I tried to correct it a bit, but it didn't work. I lost a lot of speed, and the guy in 7th place is going to be able to get right by me. He makes a bit of contact, probably because I was ghosted and just threw him off, but going to immediately lose that position, and I'm just going to start to get in my own head now. He only has 0.5 of a penalty, so I should just be patient, stick behind him for 2 laps, and just hope that I can beat him because of his penalty, but that's not going to happen. I have another big accident right here. I completely lose control of the car. I took a super dumb line. I was getting in my head. I was really just trying to catch up, and I started overdriving. And everyone knows if you start overdriving, you tend to just start crashing. So I'm going to lose several positions here, which drops me all the way down to 11th out of 14 people. Not a good look. Definitely after winning the last race and having such good momentum, it's not looking hot for me, and I'm just getting angry, trying to keep my cool. Though I've dropped down quite a bit, I still have a chance to catch back up to this 10th place driver, which is exactly what I'm going to try to do. These guys are in the back for a reason, so I'm just hoping that it's because of speed and not because they were crashed into in the beginning. So I'm going to continue trying to push a bit, and you can just tell I'm taking just the worst lines. I'm trying way too hard, probably a bit overconfident, just doing terrible. Now my goal here was to wait for the, I guess, main straight with the start-finish line to try and pass him here. The slipstream and the exit, you could easily pass people if you can get a good exit. Unfortunately, I will not get a good exit. I'm trying way too hard here, and I'm gonna lose a bit of time to him in front of me and give a bit of, I guess, slipstream to the guy behind me. So now all of a sudden I am fighting for 3rd last place here, going side by side across the start finish line to start the final lap. I'm a little nervous going into turn 1. We're about to go 2 wide, and I really do not want to lose this position. And I get a bit lucky. I keep the position, and the red car in front of me kind of has a squirrely exit, and I'm able to just kind of sneak it up right side by side with him. This next turn, you can really just bring a lot of speed, so I kind of just gunned through him, and I guess I could do a bit of a tap there, but don't think it was that much of a tap. I don't get a penalty for it, so I guess up to interpretation. I wouldn't leave it up to Forza regulations to determine if it was a good pass or not, but I'm able to take the position and immediately build a pretty comfortable gap of almost a second. Although I'm in 10th place right now, I'm actually way more stressed this race than I was in the last race being in 1st place. Probably because, well, now I'm actually fighting people, and I've done so poorly, I just don't want to make it any worse. Going into the start-finish line, just barely in front of 11th place. Will I be able to keep the position? Just barely. Now, the last race today was a bit more interesting. We start in 11th at Lime Rock, and for the first time, we actually get a half-decent start off the line. Able to get in the 10th here, but we're going to see some classic turn 1. This guy just absolutely dive bombs and tries to get as many overtakes as possible on turn 1. If he didn't hit me, he would have gone into the grass, so he got a little lucky. We also get a bit lucky. We kind of scoot on by him and reclaim 10th place, and now we're going to sit between these 3 white, I guess, default Ginettas into the tight chicane here, which is not going to go super well. I'm not quite sure what to do. I wanted to brake early, but I didn't brake early enough. And we all just kind of run into each other, bumping each other around. Don't wind up with the penalty. I think the guy in 8th actually wound up with the penalty. And going around this turn, I was trying to be patient and not pick up anything that I didn't have to pick up. But I kind of just take these next 2 turns pretty poorly and lose a bit of time. You can see someone goes off in front, puts some dirt in the air, which I think winds up causing some chaos, because as we head into turn 1, everything looks fine, but it looks like the guy that rejoined winds up taking somebody out and then somehow loses control and turns left. I don't know. I wasn't close enough to see what happened, but you know, we got free overtake, so we'll take it. And now we're just slowly catching up to 7th place again. He doesn't seem to be doing his best job at maintaining the speed through these corners. I found that sticking in 4th gear was doing the best. I wanted to like take this position, I guess, at the chicane, but it's a bit bold of me, and I hit him a little bit. I tried to back off just a little bit because I felt bad. Granted, if the position, like if it was open for me to take, I probably would have just kept the position, but because we were so close, I was like, you know what, let's have fun, let's not piss him off. Back up a bit. So we're gonna let off a little bit and just continue to try chasing him down. Now, going into turn 1, the guy in front of me takes like the weirdest line. He goes like really wide and then I guess goes for a late apex. Not quite sure what he was doing, and then decides to not continue turning and goes off. Able to just reel him in and get right behind him. I'm gonna get a little aggro here and just try to shake him up, and I'm actually able to get side by side here because he clips the grass a bit and slows his car down. Now, I really don't want to recreate what just happened, but I'm just gonna send it anyways, and I got lucky. He actually let off and I got pretty close to cutting the corner. So, wound up taking the position back and pretty happy. Now, this turn right here was not my best the entire race. I started to figure it out as the race continued, but I just wasn't taking it that well. The guy behind me wound up picking up a 2nd penalty. I think it was when he turned left on the right-hander after turn 1. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm a little comfortable now. Even if he passes me, he has to build a whole second on me in order to beat me, and it's lap 4 of 7, so a lot would have to go wrong for that to happen. Now, as we go into lap 5, I'm looking ahead at 5th and 6th place, fighting a bit. I'm getting excited, which causes me to brake a little too late. I miss the first apex and go pretty wide, allowing the guy behind me to almost sneak on through, but I make a bit of a switcheroo, and I think he clips the grass, which slows him down a little bit. He almost got it, but I got a little lucky. And now we're gonna try to stay a bit more focused, but continue watching the guys in front battle a bit. I get real lucky here. The guy behind me, for some reason, just drives into the wall. I don't know what's going on, and it distracts me to the point where I just completely cut the track. I didn't think it was that bad, but the game did, and you could just see my frustration. 1.6 felt a little severe for that, but I guess whatever, you know, Forza just rolls the dice sometimes, and whatever it lands on, that's the penalty you get. It doesn't impact me too much. The guy behind me, because he drove into the wall, I was able to get a nice gap between the two of us, but now it's looking like there's just no chance I can take out. It's looking like there's no chance of me overtaking the guys in front and keeping the position with this hefty penalty on me. Took the corner much better that time, but at this point, we're gonna finish this lap and go into the final lap. It's just not really possible for me to do much more than this, so this is kind of our final spot. Now, there's no chance I can pass 6th or 5th place with this penalty on me unless there's a massive crash. So I'm not really holding too much hope right now, but they do start fighting a little bit. You can see some dirt start to get kicked up here. One car goes a little inside, and I think he just bumps him a little wide, which slows him down quite a bit. I'm sure he's frustrated because he almost had that overtake, but I'm able to just get right behind him, and I would have normally gotten a little excited here, but the penalty is just too severe, and there's just not enough track left to actually pass him here. So we wind up in 7th. Not the end of the world, but not the best race. I can't be too upset, though. I did wind up getting P1 in the first race, so it was a good session. With that, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked the content, please consider liking and subscribing. Until next time, see you guys later.